The American Civil War card game. There are three types of cards: character cards with Union and Confederate soldiers, battle cards, and then also special action cards. So let's dive into how a game works. So you have these cards called player cards, either Union or Confederate, and then there's either 2-player or 4-player games. So each player card has 3 lives, which are represented by tokens on the player card. The aim of the game is to knock the other players off the game first. So you can see here some of the player cards are getting killed off, and the Union side is won. Woohoo! Now during the game, you're trying to reduce the other players' lives by knocking their counters off. To do this, you play battle cards during your turn against the other players. So you roll the dice to try to roll a 6. The only way to knock the other player's counter off is to roll a 6, or you can bring the number up to 6 using points on your cards. Let's say Abraham Lincoln tries to attack Jefferson Davis. He has 1 hit point he can use. And if he rolls a 6 straight off the bat, then Jefferson Davis loses 1 life point because Abraham Lincoln has 1 hit point. Okay, now let's say Stonewall Jackson attacks Ulysses S. Grant. Now he rolls a 3, but because he has -2 dice attack, he only rolls a 1 against Ulysses S. Grant, and so he has no effect on him. Okay, so now George McClellan has a hit point of 1 and a dice attack of +1. He rolls a 5, and because he has got a +1, it goes to a 6, and now he has taken out Stonewall Jackson by 1 life point. Now Robert E. Lee is going to take on George McClellan, and Robert E. Lee has a +2 hit dice attack and 2 hit points. But he also uses a battle card. So this brings him up to 6 points on his dice roll, which means that he's effective and he takes down 2 points off George McClellan. Ulysses Grant rolls 2, but he has a 2 dice attack as well. That makes 4. He has an extra card which makes 5, and then another card that makes 6. So altogether it's an effective attack. So poor old Stonewall Jackson gets his arm blown off and he dies. Remember, only 2 people are playing this game, and they've got 3 cards each. Now there's some important things to remember. A player can only hit 1 player at a time. They can't split their points between 2 players. So let's recap. To attack, you can either roll the dice and use the player points, or you can roll the dice with the player points and battle cards, or you can roll the dice, use player points, use battle cards, and use action cards as well. When you use battle cards, make sure to see whether they're good for the Union or the Confederates. So now let's talk about the action cards. First of all, you've got the 12-pounder Napoleon, which is good for the Confederates. Then you've got the 10-inch Columbiads, which is good for both sides. And finally, you've got battle plans and cigar wrappers, which is good for the Union side. Up next is the ironclad, which means that you can steal 1 card from a player's hand. With Civil War ships, let's say that you roll the dice roll and it's really low, like a 2 or a 1. You can roll it again to try and get a better strike. Pontoon bridge means that you take 3 of the top cards from the card pile, look at one that you'd like to keep, and then put the other 2 back. So for instance, you might get Fort Negley, and you put the other 2 back. The Confederate and Union troops card is really nice, because it means that when someone plays an action card against you, you can basically just dodge it by playing this card from your hand. Fort Negley is the classic stun card, where you put it in front of another player and they miss their next turn, and then they discard it. This is a really cool card. Reinforcements basically means that you say a number that you want to say and you skip all the points. So let's say you say the number 5, but then you accidentally roll, say, 4, then you don't get it. But if you say 5 and you roll 5, then you immediately hit the other player with your hit points. Woohoo! I hope you enjoy this. A kid asked me about a game of Pokemon and asked if we were going to play games like that. I said no, but then I looked into it and I was like, I could probably make something that's similar. So, here it is.